it's been a while, huh? Well, I got a chainsaw injury. Pretty bad one. I got slapped in the gut. Got slapped in the gut by my chainsaw. It's looking better than it has been looking. It still hurts a lot. I'm going to show you guys where it's at right now. You get to see my fat belly. Yeah, I mean, she got me good. This was, you can see the teeth. See where the teeth went in. Chainsaws don't mess around, guys. See how wide and open that is? Man, sometimes it itches. Sometimes it burns, like stings real bad. About 2 months into my healing process now, I was boring into a stump that was about, up here. So, and I'm going like this. Well, and most of the time I'm keeping the saw, away. So if when I was pulling out, if it did catch, it'd go that way. Well, I don't know. There's stuff. But I don't know what I was doing here, but I know that I was making a cut and I was thinking about stopping and taking a break. So I pulled out, and next thing I know, that sucker just ejected right into me like a shotgun. It felt like a recoil of a shotgun. First problem with that scenario was I was really exhausted. I had done 2 or 3 other weekends of just craziness before that. I know that I had 2 other shows that I had done. One of them was a full weekend. The weekend before this weekend, where I got hurt, was a 2-day event. Plus I was working 5 days a week at my job, full time every day. And I mean, I was putting in like 50 hours a week, so, or more, somewhere around there. I mean, I was working like easily 10-hour days, minimum of an 8-9 hour day. So, and out in the hot sun, the beginning of the season doing stonework. So it's, it's not like I was ever getting any rest or break at all, physically. So this event, I didn't really want to do it, but it was my last one for the season, and I was saying, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go, I'm going to take some time off, and from doing any carving stuff, and I had a couple obligations from winter to finish up, couple small carvings for people, and I didn't get those. They weren't due until last weekend, and I didn't work on them. I couldn't. Just picking up a saw I didn't pick up a saw until a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it wasn't that I'm scared of them. It's that you just don't It's getting yourself to do something after you did something that you didn't want to do with that piece of equipment or that tool, and you got hurt. It's like if I was riding bikes with my friends and peer pressure, they kept telling me, well, set your hair on fire and jump your bike off that cliff. And then if I got hurt doing that, it would be really hard for me to get back on the bike at all. I did something that I didn't necessarily want to do, but I did it for other people because I'm good at it. I'm good at setting my own hair on fire. I mean, the main thing is that the event organizer was very pushy. This was a Saturday. I was tired. I showed up dead tired. I didn't want to, because for these shows on the weekends, I was going to my shop and staying the night at the shop, getting the van ready. I was getting off work at 6, 7 o'clock at night, even 5 o'clock at night. on a Friday, and then, you know, I'd go to the shop and or I'd go straight home and sleep and then get up and go to the shop in the middle of the night and get packed up and then stay at the shop, get a couple hours more of rest or whatever, or just stay up all night until I had to be at this event. And it's a Saturday and I want to get out of there. And when I kept telling myself that I needed to be done and I should just be done, I should have been done. I should have just cut the cord at that point and been done. Walked away and said, hey, I'll be back later. I'll come back some other weekend. The other thing that I'll say, the minute that somebody asks you to take somebody else's carving and cut it off a base and recarve something out of the base or change that carving, for me personally, that should have been, I should have just said no to the whole stupid thing right then, because then you're getting yourself into a scenario where, you know, you're working on a rotted, dried out piece of wood. You're messing with somebody else's carving, somebody else's artwork. I mean, I don't care who owns it. It's somebody else's artwork. If you want a carving from me, I'm carving you something from a log. I'm not going to take somebody else's work and time and whatever. That person might have totally loved that piece that they did and sold to you. They might have been thinking about their dead grandpa when they were doing that piece, and just to destroy it. I mean, there's a spiritual connection. It's morals, man. If you buy a piece of artwork from somebody and you don't take care of it right and it falls apart out in the weather or whatever, that was the thing. She wanted it gone. I thought it was a great carving. I said, it looks fine. All it needs is a little spit and polish. I said, I'll fix it. I'll repair it. Make it pretty again. Revarnish it. Put some glue and some pieces on it. But you're asking, why don't I just carve you this thing out of a totally different piece of wood later on? I mean, it was just that scenario where it was pissing me off, and it kept pissing me off, and I kept feeling pressure to say yes to things that I didn't want to say yes to. I kept feeling pressure to answer questions that I didn't want to answer. It's a bad scenario all the way around. Like, from the minute I walked in that place, I mean, I met a really nice lady. I met a really awesome, made a new friend there. She was cool, and when I got hurt, she was the one who came and helped me. So, that being said, I'm a lot of money in the hole because of this, and like I said, for pocket change, I have a job. This wasn't worth it. I lost weeks and weeks of work. I lost all kinds of stuff. Lost my drive to carve. I'm out here today just messing with the carbide chain again. I was in the middle of doing those videos when all this accident stuff happened, and like, I've been down and out, guys. I've really been down and out. A lot of times that I'll just, you know, not do anything all day besides work. So, yeah, I mean, we're here, and we got this big ugly stump here. We're gonna get, I mean, this is a buried, that's a chunk of buried, you see there, it's a buried chunk of wood from years ago. The bank used to be right here. So, this is where it's all filled in over the years. And this is, see, that's a pretty dirty log. Any other chain would be done by now. Like, alright, so we're gonna do just do some bare eyes. This is a quick little thing. Just gonna carve in some eyes. I haven't shown you guys how I carve eyes So, I mean, I've only shown you really that eye tool that I made. So this is kind of a neat way to make an eye. I go around with the tip of the saw and I leave a little bit of an impression, a little dome out. So I make the eye well, and I'm making the rough shape of the eye as I'm making the eye well. See, it's very slight, very subtle, because when you cut the eye in, now you're gonna kind of follow that. Reposition this here. The thing I think about too is the placement of the eyes. Normally off of the nose. A bear's eyes, kind of like with a dog, they're going to be the bear can see over the top of its nose a little bit. They don't have real good forward vision because the eyes, well, I'm gonna say we'll take that out, because bears can see forward and they can see peripherally. They have that very good eyesight like a dog does, but they also have but usually things that are face on I always make the eyes a little bit higher than the top of the nose. Normally you see bear carvings with the eyes down level with the nose. A bear, just like a dog, does have some peripheral. If they tilt their head down, they see better. But that's generally what I do with the eyes, is I put them right on top of the nose. Like the center of the eye will be just in line or just slightly above the top of the nose. Okay, so it's not really perfectly even, but I kind of even stuff out as I go, and as always, nothing's ever perfectly even, but I want to slowly push the bottom of this eye up a little bit so it does look more even with that one. All right, so I think that's pretty close, pretty good. I could give a little more. And right hand to left, or right side to left side, things are gonna be a little bit different. So I wanna adjust as I go. Now I'm just gonna use the very tip of the bar. I use like from here to there, and I use from there to there as I'm shaping the eye. And generally spacing, I go about a bar width away from the nose just in general. I mean, it's not a perfect formula to go by, but if you put her there, put the bar right flat to the nose, boom, there's about the edge of the eyeball, and you have to imagine the eyeball actually is round. What's making it that shape is the skin for the eyelids. Bears do have eyelids. A lot of my bears, I just use that round tool in and out. Those are cutesy bears, and they look great. People love them that way. So either way, you can use a real round eye. You can make a real round eye. But see the shapes, the shape of these eyes, and see I weld out just a little bit. And again, it's right off the top of the nose, and there's the bar flat off the nose to the eyeball. Bar flat off the nose to the eyeball. So that's my way, that's my formula for doing eyes and keeping the space good on them. In general, that's kind of how I look at it. So it's about the same. And you know, this part out here, you're gonna carve in later, they have an eyebrow, and they do have a distinctive cheekbone. And you know, you can put those things in or you can leave those things out. Again, it's like the round eyeballs with the bears that, you know, the little cutesy bears. It looks great, and people buy them and people like looking at them. Same thing with the ears. Normally the center of the ear is pretty close in line with the eyes. That's for a relaxed bear look. You can put them up higher, I mean, but there's always a line that goes, like you imagine a line off of the eyes. See, and I start out round first. I get the shape of my eyeball in there. And I like them almost better, more round on the inside. and I'll taper that in as I go along. And now here I have to keep moving my stand around because this is where, oh, right there, you know, I'm really conscious about that now since my accident with my gut. Anytime that the top of the bar is facing me, anytime that the bar, either top or bottom, is facing me or my body parts, I'm super conscious of it, super aware now. So, you know, and I used to be aware of it, but I used to not care. Now I care because I got bit pretty bad from it. So. See, and that little corner says everything to me, like on the look of a bear's eye, like the relaxedness of it. That's important to me. It's up to you guys what's important to you, but that's generally the basis of how I get the shape of the eyes, and I can stand back, you know, and I can say that looks pretty good. They're pretty even. The space is good, you know. They're at the right height. Now what I want to do though is I want to tuck the bottom of the eyes back in, so that they're not on the same plane as the brow line. Because the bear's actually looking down at you. He's looking forward, he's not looking up at the sky. See, this one is different than that one now. And just the eye well. And now remember to always slant your eyes back. They're not flat straight on. There's a little bit of a slant back to them. All animals with a skull either have the eyes on the side like a bird, sort of. Eagle eyes, if you look at an eagle, actually an eagle, you can see his eyes from head on, like really well. So it depends on the bird, because like a rooster, their eyes are primarily right on the side of their head, like a lot of other birds. Now it's furring up a little bit, and I usually use a die grinder with a burr just to clean that up. And what's important right now is that I'm getting the shape of the eyes evenly with the saw, so that it, you know, it is saw carved. It's just die grinder polished. Good to me. see, even as I'm doing all this, I come in and I start establishing, there's muscles here, very little bit at a time. You just keep going around. Going around and smoothing out, and it's looking more and more realistic to me, or close to realistic, you know. It's got shape now. It is art. This is art, so things don't have to be realistic. I like to give my bears a lip. I don't know if that's appropriate or not for a bear. But you know, when I do a bear, I kind of think about the Rottweiler that I had. I mean, the thing, years ago I had a Rottweiler and he looked just like a bear to me. His name was Duke Dog, and he was just awesome character. And he had this lip, and his lower lip too. I mean, when he looked at you, when he stared at you, if he wanted something, it was the funniest face ever. And I could only imagine having a pet bear or a partner in the house that's a bear, and he does the same thing when he wants something, if he wants to go out or if he's hungry. He's got that same kind of goofiness, but it's still serious to me. See, there I got myself in the danger zone, but I didn't feel terribly bad about it because of the size of the saw I'm using. This side is a little more difficult. And see, I'm just going to continue keeping that, you have that arch above the eyes going. This one just takes a lot more moving around. You'll have differences side to side. Even if I were to lay this bear down, then I could actually get at the eyes a little bit better. But I have a whole setup that I have to do that. And say if this were a stump job, I wouldn't be able to lay the bear down, so I would need to either keep moving my platform around or figure out, you know, what's best to do there. I think that looks pretty good. It's not perfectly the same. I mean, that's close. That's very close. I can dial it in with the the die grinder. The important thing here is be safe, have fun, and remember, it's only art. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be realistic. I mean, yeah, realism is cool. It's really great, but it's not easy to achieve all the time. So, and here too, I like this eye well better than I like that around the eyeball. So I'm going to tune that in as I go. Well, I think that's a good point for now. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly even. His mouth isn't perfectly even if you did a center line. But it's like anything I do. I kind of guess the center line and go. You see the chest. How I like to actually carve in the chest and the shoulder muscles, shoulder blades. Because bears do have anatomy to them. I don't always put that in there, but it's, you know, I do like to put that in there if it's the piece calls for it. So, all right, well, that's kind of my quick tip for now. Be safe and have fun out there. this is the saw and the setup that bit me bad. This chain was slightly dull. I haven't sharpened this saw. I've only run this saw a couple times since my accident. I'm trying to make peace with this saw. It's kind of, I'm not really superstitious, and I'm not really into a lot of spiritual stuff. Maybe I am at this point, because I want to make peace with this saw and make peace with myself on the situation. Until I do that, I'm not sure I can change this setup. I don't know. I may cut this bar down and refit it to, you know, this length. I may do that today, and you know, make it something, you know, easier and more fun for me to use. This is 325 chain. I had the backs of the teeth cut forward a little bit, but you see I didn't touch the rakers from stock. Those are the rakers are the stock rakers, so the saw was already naturally holding back a little bit from biting in heavy. I didn't get cut. This is the important thing. I did not get cut. I did not get hurt while in the cut and focused and driving through. Where I got cut was I was boring down in, and it was this exact thing where I was boring down in to a stump, and here you're dangerous, and you're like, oh man, like, you know, this is stupid. It was hardwood, so there it's doubly stupid. Number three, it was a dull saw. The saw had been beaten on, and I didn't have the rakers tuned properly, but I could do the cut. I could sit here and leverage against it, and I still felt unsafe. That was the whole thing. I felt unsafe in the beginning. It looks like a stupid move. It was a totally stupid move. I'm not denying that. I have posted a couple times on social media just letting people know what's going on, and you get all kinds of comments. The thing is, guys, I know I did something stupid. I walked myself into it. I got hurt. That's pretty much end of story. When this was going on, it was hot. I was kind of frustrated with the way things were going for that day. I was done at that point with the day, but I was being asked to do more when I had already finished what I was obligated to do. I was being asked to do extra. Two other saws. My two other saws, the one I broke the pull cord on, that I was supposed to, it was a little 10-inch, which is going to be what I was going to use for this final. They wanted me to bore the top out. They had asked before. I said, yeah, we'll see how far we get. It was a hot day. I was in a very confined space. My safety netting kept snagging on my feet. It was one of those scenarios where I looked at it from the beginning and I said, this is going to be a real pain. It was a pain to set up. The event organizer was asking me throughout the day, like interrupting me every, 10 or 15 minutes. I can't be interrupted a lot. As I get interrupted, I get more and more I want to be done and out of there. If I choose to stop and talk to somebody, if they're standing there, I have the choice. But when somebody comes over and waves you down and it's the event organizer and it's, okay, what now? And they have no clue what you're going through in your head in that situation. It was, like I said, it was already a hairy situation. I was just trying to get through the day, survive the day, get them their carving done, get out of there, be paid what little I was promised, and be done with it, and maybe come back later under cooler conditions when my head was more together, when I was calmer. That was when, okay, yeah, the 15, 20 things other that you're asking me to do, we'll go over that list, and that'll be a different charge and a different day. But it came down to ultimately where I had even said, I don't feel safe doing this right now. I want to be done. I said that to the organizer, and they kind of gave me the attitude, well, you're here, and we're paying you, and we expect, you know, they said you were the best, and I'm like, well, that's great. That's great to throw that in somebody's face. I don't think I'm the best of anything. You know, they're talking you up, oh, your work is wonderful, it's the best work we've ever seen, and everybody's saying all this about you, because you want more from me. That's why you're talking. People only do that, and it doesn't fluff my ego, but it's like, man, I'm here, I feel trapped, so I just got to get out of here. And, you know, the whole time I'm making that cut, mostly I was making the cut here, and I was thinking, oh man, what if, you know, what if, look at where I am in line with my arm, you know, even the break, I don't know if that would have stopped it. When you make that kind of a bore cut, the stump was this high. I had no choice unless I were to put myself in a ladder and get other chunks of tree and all that to stand on, but I didn't have all that. This was in a little children's playground in the middle of a zoo, and there wasn't a lot of resources, and it was a hurried situation. I was only supposed to be there to carve a face into the stump for a couple hours, and then, like I said, the event organizer kind of got greedy and pushy with me and was pushing and asking for more. And, you know, if I had a bar that long and was boring down in, I would have been all right. I really would have been all right. What it is your length of your bar. If it's longer than your saw, or as long as your saw, you're putting yourself in harm's way. Even if it's a stump this high, you're still putting yourself in the line of fire, but you're doing a lot less so with a shorter bar because you have more control over that leverage wise. So the saw was dull. I was in a hurry. I didn't even want to be there doing that, and every time I'm boring in, I'm telling myself, man, you're going to catch it good. You better just be careful and just better take your time and slow down, cool your head down, because I was frustrated. And I was, damn it, I'm going to get it done. And she's fighting me the whole way. And after about half an hour, I had actually said, that's it, I'm done. I'm calling it. I'm shutting the saw off, and I'm walking over to the event organizer and taking a nice drink, and sure enough, somehow it was over here directly facing my gut, and I'm making the cut. Mind you, I'm down in here. Now I'm saying, all right, so time to quit. I'm pulling up, and man, that sucker just come right back, and it hit me so hard, it slapped me. It was fast. And I wasn't even on the trigger. I had let off the gas about here, right? And it's just one of those where you go, whang, you know, and you're expecting to do this thing, and instead, somehow, that thing, it had hit the top while the chain was still spinning, no power to it, but it was going that fast, and this hand had actually let go, and I'm like, I didn't even know what was happening. I'm standing there with holding the saw with one hand going, what just happened? I know what just happened, but it's the worst nightmare possible. And I saw the hole in my shirt, and I said, that can't be that bad. I lifted my shirt up, and I mean, it was significant, let me tell you. It was scary. And that's the whole PTSD thing. And this is probably the first time I can actually talk about it and not go off into left field. Maybe making this video is helping that a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm doing this. But no matter what you guys do, if you get that little voice or that little itch in the back of your head, it's always better to walk away. It's always better to be the coward. It's always better to be the guy who failed that day. You can always come back. Now I can't go back to that because they're not going to get any more work from me. I'm never going to go to that place again because of the memories and the situation that I have with that place. It was horrible. It was the worst day of my life, pretty much. I mean, there's been worse days that have done, that have been harder for me to get over. But as far as something happening to me personally, physically, situation that I put myself in, and I'm still kind of mad at myself for it. It happens. That's where now I'm dealing with a lot. I'm just trying to get through every day and be productive. And my hands are messed up now, so now I'm dealing with that. That was part of the job, though. The hands being messed up, that happens. There again, I was pushing a little bit hard. It was rainy, but those things will happen. You can't always prevent accidents like that happening. That's a drill. It's a situation. If I had the drill between my legs, like holding it, like which I normally do, yeah, it wouldn't have twisted as bad, and it wouldn't have taken my hands for a ride. So that's where I'm thinking back, like, yeah, I should have just squeezed it with my legs. I usually squeeze the motor in between my knees on those big drills to keep them, because I'm afraid of that. I hate that twist. I've had it happen before and hurt my hands, but nothing like this. This is 2 weeks out now, and I'm just starting to get back on the saws. So this saw and I, we haven't totally made peace yet. The 2 other times that I've used it since my accident, this is why I believe there might be a curse on this saw. That's why I'm just taking it easy with it. It's seriously, I'm not joking. Twice, wearing safety, these aren't safety glasses, but wearing actual safety glasses tight to my face, twice I got these huge chunks and I was cutting ash, huge chunks thrown up under my safety glasses and lodged in my eye. Like literally for an hour I was like, like trying to pick it out, go run to the car mirror and sit there and put my dirty finger in my eye. I mean, I'm good at those situations, but I hate them. That ends the day for me. It ends the evening. Sorry, I'm having the pain in my hands is bad enough that it's radiating down my arms, especially in the mornings. So that's a tough one to deal with every day. But I haven't totally made peace with this saw because I haven't been able to use it as is without getting injured from it. Even if it's a little random chip in the eye, like how did that go up under my safety glasses and totally like blast me in the eye? I mean, it was, twice it happened. It was that shotgun blast where you're like, dang it, like, bird shot to the face. And it makes you mad. It makes you a little upset, and it's frustrating, and you're discouraged now again. So every time I use this saw, it injures me one way or the other. It tried really taking me out bad. It succeeded for a bit. But that's the story with this guy. That's the story. That's my story with saws in general. If you have a saw that you've had a pretty significant injury with, every time you put your hands on that saw, the whole ugly muscle memory thing is going to kick in, whether you want it to or not, whether you're a tough guy or whether you're a wimp like me. It's gonna change you. It's gonna affect you in ways that you don't want it to. But onward and upward. Thanks for everybody coming back. Thanks for the new subscribers. I appreciate it. I know I haven't been putting a whole lot of stuff out there, and